watch.
Hello.
Hello. We've been making puppet figures. And here's the first one. Let's get him up and show you how we've made him. Here we are. Just turn him round. Now, we made the shoulders out of this strip of wood. And then the rest of his body out of sheets of sugar paper. And then we stuck them all together and then hung them from the wood. We've called this one David. He's quite a size, isn't he? But he's not half as big as the next one.
Come on, James. Come and help me finish him off.
Right, what have I got to do?
Well, there's a leg for you.
Fine.
And there's one for me.
Right.
That's it, put them on there.
We're using staples. But you could use sticky paper or glue.
Yeah. And there's a hand for you.
Right. Just look at the size of that hand. It's like a great bunch of bananas, isn't it?
There we are. And last of all, the head. Whew. He's a hairy monster, isn't he?
Not half. I wonder what size he is. Let's measure him.
Okay.
Now, I haven't got a ruler with me, but I'll measure him with my feet. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of my feet tall.
And I'll use my hand. If I stretch out my hand, the distance between my little finger and my thumb is known as a span. So I'll measure him that way. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 spans long.
He's a big lad, all right.
He is.
Let's see what he looks like standing up.
Oh, yes, let's.
Come on, up you come.
Up you come, yes. Heavens. God, he's really tall.
He looks a bit frightening, doesn't he?
He does. Can you guess what we're going to call him? Well, that one's called David, and this one's called Goliath. David and Goliath. There's a famous story about them in the Bible, and we're going to spend the rest of the program telling it to you.
Let's start off with David. David was a young boy who lived many, many years ago in a country called Israel. David was a shepherd lad, and that meant that he spent almost every day out on the hillside looking after his father's sheep. Most of the time he was on his own, and every day he used to practice throwing stones with his sling. There were lions and wolves in Israel at that time, and David knew that he had to be able to frighten them off if they attacked his flock, and that was where a sling came in handy. Another thing that David liked was music. Often he would pass the time by singing to himself and playing on his harp.
I am a shepherd boy, these are my sheep. I got them in the daytime, I got them as they sleep. The ewe and the ram, the newborn lamb. I am a shepherd boy, these are my sheep. I am a shepherd boy, feeding my sheep. I lead them where the grass is green, and then I watch, I keep. I lead and I guide them, and walk the hills beside them. I am a shepherd boy,
in those days, Israel was ruled over by a man called Saul. Would you like to meet him? Well, he's right here behind me. This is his palace, and that is King Saul on his throne.
Wine. Fetch me wine. Jonathan!
To start with, Saul had been a good king, but as the years went by, he had grown more and more bad-tempered and moody.
You call that wine? It's like ditch water.
Jonathan was Saul's son, and it upset him to see his father in these moods. He and the chamberlain racked their brains to think of some way of cheering him up.
My father is an evil spirit, Ahab. It saddens me to see him like this.
I've been thinking, perhaps music could help him. Let us find someone to sing and play to him.
A singer? He'd have to sing like a nightingale to cheer my father.
That's true. But I think I may have found our nightingale.
You have?
Yes. A few days ago, I was riding through Bethlehem, and I heard this shepherd boy singing to his sheep. His music was so pure and true. Why, even the birds seemed to be listening to him. I think he could help your father.
Fetch him here.
So David the shepherd boy was summoned from the fields to sing to King Saul. David had never been further than his own village before, so you can imagine how he must have felt when he was led into a royal palace and shown before King Saul.
Who's this?
This is David, father, a young shepherd lad. Go on, boy. Sing to him.
What am I to sing?
Why, the songs that you know. The songs that you sing to your sheep.
Very well.
I am a shepherd boy, these are my sheep. I got them in the daytime, I got them as they sleep. The ewe and the ram, the newborn lamb. I am a shepherd boy, these are my sheep.
Come here, boy. I like your voice. I like your face. Will you stay with me in the palace and serve me?
If it pleases you, Your Majesty.
Good. This is well done.
Everyone was delighted, especially David. But at that very moment, Saul was to be given terrible news. His country had been attacked.
Sire, the Philistines.
Philistines, how dare you mention that hated name?
Forgive me, sire, but the Philistine armies are on the march. They have invaded our land.
Invaded?
Yes, it was terrible news. The Philistines were the people who lived next door to Israel, and they were the Israelites' worst enemies. Saul immediately gathered together his own army and marched off to meet the Philistines. A few days later, the two armies came face to face. Each was camped on the brow of a hill and facing each other across a valley. And now the Israelites had another nasty shock. For one of the Philistine soldiers was the biggest man they had ever seen. His name was Goliath, and he was a real giant, over 9 feet tall. Every day he would come marching out and challenge any of the Israelites to fight him.
Come on in, you cowards! Who's gonna come and fight me? Well, come on then! Which one of you is a match for Goliath? What are you waiting for? Don't say you Israelites are frightened!
But the Israelites were frightened. They knew that Goliath was much too strong for any one of them. And if they did fight the giant, they would almost certainly be killed.
Let's hear! Come on in! Come down here and fight!
Back in the royal tent, King Saul could hear Goliath shouting out his challenge, and he couldn't think what to do. Goliath was making a laughingstock of them, but none of Saul's soldiers dared face the giant. Only Jonathan offered to fight Goliath, but Saul would not allow it.
Do you hear him, father?
Why don't you come down here and fight me?
Let me fight you.
No, Jonathan. You will be butchered.
Very well, let him kill me.
Have you?
Anything is better than this disgrace.
I cannot allow it. You are my son. Israel needs you. I tell you, we shall have to surrender. No other way.
Will no one come forward to fight this brute?
Yes, I will.
David, you can't fight Goliath.
Yes, I can. God will protect me.
But David, you're only a boy. Goliath has been a fighting man all his life.
Don't worry, sire. I have nothing to fear. Last winter, a lion tried to steal one of my sheep. But God stood by me and I killed that lion. It'll be the same with Goliath. God will protect me and I will win.
So be it. You're a brave lad. Here. Take my armor.
Thank you, sire, but no. It will only weigh me down. I'm not used to it.
At least, take my helmet. Go on, try it on.
No, sire, it is too heavy. I will go as I am.
But you're unarmed, David.
No, I'm not. I have my sling. If a sling can kill a lion, it can kill Goliath.
So David set out to fight the giant. But before he met him, he chose his ammunition very carefully from the bed of a small stream.
3, 4, 5. And now I'm ready for you, Goliath.
When Goliath saw David coming, he could hardly believe his eyes. Was this the best that Israel could do? A mere unarmed boy?
Go home, little man, before I chop you into little pieces. Go on, go home, before I make mincemeat of you.
I'm not afraid of you, Goliath. You're the one that's going to die.
Insolent puppy, you must be mad. A little runt like you, how could you hope to kill Goliath?
I'll show you.
David's aim was deadly. The stone hit Goliath on his forehead, and he sank to the ground unconscious. As David ran in to finish him off, the Israelites cheered and cheered.
All this time, Saul had sat alone in his tent. He was so certain that David would be killed that he couldn't bear to watch. And when he heard the shouting, he thought it was the Philistines cheering Goliath.
So, it's all over. The Philistines are cheering.
Father! Those aren't the Philistines cheering, those are our soldiers. What? David has done it. He's won. The boy has killed the giant. That's right. Goliath is dead and David lives.
Your Majesty.
David.
And that was the end of the war. The Philistine armies were so frightened by the death of Goliath that they fled straight back to their own country.
As for the Israelites, they were so pleased. I expect they went dancing and singing right through the night. Goliath, the 9-foot giant, was dead.
Oh, the Philistines, they were feeling grand as their armies entered Israel's land. For they had Goliath, the biggest of all. They had the man who was 9 feet tall. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. 9 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall.
Who's going to fight him? Said King Saul. But nobody answered, no one at all. They looked at Goliath and backed away.
Oh, not today, Saul, not today.
For he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. 9 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall.
Then David turned and swung his sling. The stone flew straight like a bird on the wing. It struck Goliath smack on the head, and down fell Goliath as good as dead. Down fell the man who was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. 9 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall.
Pow, said David.
Pow, said Saul.
Pow, said the Israelite armies all. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, especially men who are 9 feet tall. That goes for men who are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. 9 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.